What's up if you're new?
Hello, salutations. What it do? It's Sadot The Gamer, off out of Durag Gang, nerd vibes like subscribe. Let's get it. Welcome back, Durag Nation. We are live for a special presentation. Not a big surprise if you've been following the content, especially the video I did yesterday. Today is going to be the world premiere officially of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Very excited to see what Sony is cooking up. How's everyone doing in chat? We're live on both YouTube and Twitch, as usual. What's up, Infinity Gaming? Asma, what's up, Drew, Buddy? What up, Travis? Film Watcher, shout out to my members. What's up, Prime? How you doing? Are you gonna find out what the guy at Bungie did? Oh, the CEO? I doubt you're the only guy to find out about it. It's definitely something that people tapped in gaming would know. Probably not something that a lot of people outside of the gaming sphere would know, but yeah. CEO being out of touch, greedy, and terrible. Tale as old as time. Laying off a bunch of employees while showing off your luxury cars. Yep, that's how it goes. What's up, Joker? What's up, Zachary? What's up, Hawk? Mega Frog, Mando, what up, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good one. What's up, Ozma? Chill. You only need to say hi once. What's up, Justice Royals? I'm doing good. How are you? What's up, Jace? Wonder how much the PS5 Pro will be. I would say it has to be 600 at least. I could potentially see, because this is what they did with the PS4 Pro. I could see a scenario where they go cheaper than you expect, but I doubt it. What's up, Simple J? How you doing? Over on the Twitch side. They could go like 400 for like the all digital. 450 realistically. You know, something you wouldn't as expect. But realistically, I'd say 500 to 600 is what Sony is probably going to go for. I think that sounds reasonable. You don't have a PS5 yet, so yeah, if you don't have a PS5 yet, I think it's definitely worth just waiting for the Pro. If you have a PS5, then that's just going to depend on your situation. Like, I've had the PS5 since it first came out, so an upgrade would make sense for me. But if you just got one and you're not really, and assuming the Pro doesn't sound like something that appealing to you, then yeah, you should probably just sit back and wait. But I mean, realistically, you can always just trade in your PS5 at it regardless. You can sell it. You're still going to get top value for it, whether you trade it in or sell it, and you can put that money towards the Pro. But I definitely think it'll be interesting. Obviously the PSVR 2 was a massive failure, but I think the Pro is definitely in a better position. There is like this kind of perception, mainly on Twitter, that it doesn't make sense to have a Pro because there's not enough games. But what you gotta understand is that Sony is appealing to people who like having the latest thing and have the money to spend on it. Like, yeah, if you're not someone who is jumping on the latest stuff, you don't play a lot of games, yeah, you probably don't see the value in this. But if you've had a PS5, you play a lot of games, and you want to do something better, yeah, it makes perfect sense to get a 5. The features will definitely determine how much better. Like, already off the rip, having 2 terabytes as a base of storage is definitely worth making the switch, especially if I can easily transfer my external that's already 2 terabytes and move it over to the Pro without really any hassle. Easily worth it. All your saves are going. Why will all your saves be going? All your game saves are on the cloud. Your game saves are connected to your PSN account. Every time you play a game, every time you save, it's going to your PSN account. So it doesn't matter as long as you log in. As long as you log into your PSN account, you're going to have access to every game you've ever bought on that account. That's not an issue. The issue is whether or not the Pro will be a big upgrade. So, and I think outside of performance, if they can have some big quality of life improvements, like installing that external hard drive, they can make that easier on the Pro. If they can, this is me personally, but have some better support for audio. That's mainly for streamer, for me from a streamer perspective, because I like to use. I mainly use Discord now, but I don't use the voice chat for streaming because it's the whole thing. But that would be nice. Backwards compatibility, that will be a big thing. I've heard rumors that they're going to have full backwards compatibility up to the PS1. That can be a very huge selling point for a lot of people. It's just a matter of those big features. If they can nail those big features, then I think a lot more people will be able to come on board with the Pro. And I also expect the game thing to come up in the next few weeks. Actually, I heard the other thing is the state of play. Like, that's going to be where the games are. But yeah, the backwards compatibility thing will be big, but future games, I think we're going to get more clarity at the state of play, which is, according to the latest rumors, is supposed to be around the end of the month. But I've heard next week. Like Ignis, he's the one that correctly said that according to his sources, the Pro is going to get revealed this week, separate from the state of play. And I think he said the state of play is going to be next week. So if the state of play is next week, I would expect today at the presentation, they'll end it with like a promo for the state of play. Today, they're really just going to be showing off the Pro, but the state of play is where they're going to start promoting like the games and stuff like that. That's where they're going to try to sell you. And the Tokyo Game Show as well. That's where they're going to try to sell you on why you want to play all the upcoming games on the Pro. Has anyone's PS5 since launch been shutting down whenever they play a big AAA games? No, that's crazy. I have not experienced that. You want a Red Hood game? Yeah, Travis is all about the Red Hood. I'm at this point, I just don't want any more. Like, I don't want any more Batman related games for a while. Like, I think there needs to be a temporary restriction on Batman associated games. Like, no Batman, none of his rogue gallery, none of the Bat family. until at least 5 other DC characters have gotten a game. At least. No more. You can't do Batman until at least 5 different DC characters. It's the only exception I'll allow is if you have a game like a Justice League, actual Justice League game, where Batman is included as a playable character or has a cameo. But no Batman or Batman focused games until at least 5 other DC characters, not in the Bat family, have gotten games. And they don't even need to come out. Just in development, announced. I'll take that. Until then, no more. No more Batman stuff. They've done too much. We did Flash. Yes, Flash, Superman, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Teen Titans, Constantine. You got it. Something else. We can't do Batman again. we just can't. I'll take Creature Commandos. Going into the James Gunn stuff, I'll take Creature Commando game. I'll take a game based on the Authority. I'll take a Booster Gold game at this point. No more Batman for a while. Please, for the love of God. Didn't the Justice League game get canceled? No, they sadly didn't even try to make one. There was one like many years ago. Like I'm talking about in recent times. Like no, the recent games that were canceled were mostly at WB Games Montreal. They canceled a DC game that I'm not allowed to tell you until it leaks, and they canceled a Damian Wayne focus game before, and they canceled their own Suicide Squad game before eventually doing Gotham Knights. Rocksteady were never working on another DC game before Suicide Squad. After Arkham VR, they were going to do a really stupid puzzle game, and then Suicide Squad was made available, and they switched to that. So they have the whole stuff about them doing a Superman game was never true. Do you think PlayStation is going to shelve the showcase branding in events? No, I don't see any evidence of that. The system seems to be pretty straightforward and working. They have state of plays to set expectations when they don't have like a huge amount of first party stuff to show off. This allows them to show off more third party stuff. And then when and even some, smaller indie stuff. And then when they have like a decent amount of major first party stuff, they can have the showcase. No reason to blend them. This works perfectly because they can have multiple state of plays of the year every year, which is what they've been doing, and what from as far as I know they're going to continue to do. They have multiple state of plays, and they can have them. They have the flexibility to make them about different things. Like earlier, they had one that was mostly about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The last one in May was more of a traditional state of play where you have like a little first party, like they had Astrobot, Concord, and then they had some interesting third party stuff like Monster Hunter Wilds, Marvel Rivals, Where Winds Meet. And that seems to be a winning format. So hello from France. Peace on you. Peace on you. Shout out to France. Yeah, this is a presentation that's for the Pro. If there's any gameplay today, it'll probably be Astrobot, but this is not a state of play. This is not anything like that where they're going to be having game trailers and stuff all over. It's a short tech presentation focused on introducing the world to the Pro. The only surprises I'm expecting is them announcing the state of play at the end of the presentation. Now, maybe they tease a game at the presentation at the state of play, because they sometimes will, for a state of play, they'll say, you know, obviously they'll save big stuff as a surprise for the actual show, but they'll have like a game to like headline, just to say, hey, come to the state of play, you're going to see this in this game and a bunch of other stuff. So maybe they do that, but this is mainly about the Pro. Hope we get good DC games at least announced in the next 3 years. Yeah, like I know I've heard that Gunn said himself that he's planning on doing AAA games for his DCU, but we haven't seen anything yet. So far, there's been no DC games announced under James Gunn, under his new DCU. All the upcoming DC games were started before Gunn took over. The Wonder Woman game for Monolith, that was before Gunn. Arkham Shadow was in development before Gunn. Wolf Among Us 2 was in development before Gunn. And even the unannounced project WB Games Montreal is working on, that's been a thing since like 2021. So we haven't heard any movement on something under the James Gunn era for his new DC stuff. Even Injustice 3 was planned a long time ago. So I don't know what's going on with the DC games, but I hope we get some announcements soon. I dare you to give you a PS5. No. Do you think we'll get snow like in the Miles Morales? If they drop DLC, I would expect them to add snow, because so many people have told them they want snow back in the game. So I think they add snow for DLC. Hope Injustice 3 has Lobo. I hope we get a Lobo game. How about that? How about a Lobo focused game? They want to do something different. I'll take that. As long as it's not Batman. Give me something. DC, something. Marvel is destroying them right now when it comes to gaming. We need something. The new design though. The concept, from what I've seen, it seems okay. I want to see the final product, but the design, I think it's fine. I honestly am not really concerned, especially since I have plates. I actually have the Spider-Man 2 plates, so I'm hoping those can transfer to the Pro as well. But yeah, when it comes to designs of systems, I don't really care. As I care about like the functionality and the features. They can make it look however they want it to look. I'm going to put plates on it. Can't wait for the Captain America game. Yep. Rise of Hydra. Yeah, that's supposed to come out next year. I'm expecting gameplay for that at the Game Awards. Maybe at the State of Play as well. Yeah, the third party angle is interesting. I heard there's some Marvel Rivals stuff happening this month, so maybe Marvel Rivals is at the State of Play again. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of the year. We haven't seen any Rise of Hydra gameplay yet, and we know they're targeting 2025, so that could happen at the State of Play or at the Game Awards. Same for the Wonder Woman game. Same for the Iron Man game. We could definitely have one of those pop up somewhere. For the DLC, they did say they have multiplayer mode. I would not expect any multiplayer for the what if they drop Spider-Man 2 DLC. I do not expect it to have any multiplayer at all. They actually, because I remember years people were speculating about what Insomniac was working on because there were job postings for people looking from Insomniac looking to hire people with multiplayer experience, and everyone was wondering what that was for. And it turns out it was for the Great Web, which was canceled. So GG. Tired of people saying Rivals kills Overwatch. Yeah, Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch 2 still has a thriving community. It's obviously not nearly what it used to be, but Overwatch. I think the cool thing about Overwatch and Marvel Rivals is that they can exist at the same time and not hurt. I don't want. Obviously, you're going to have some Overwatch players coming over to Rivals, but Marvel Rivals, if you played enough, has positioned itself to function like as its own standalone, really fun experience, whether or not you're a hardcore Overwatch player or not. So I think regardless of whether or not it ultimately ends up being better, it's going to do well. Can't wait to see if it's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, the features are going to be the biggest selling point for the Pro. Games I'm not worried about because I expect Sony is going to have some really cool stuff to announce for the state of play. And obviously we know GTA 6 is coming, Monster Hunter Wilds is coming. People are going to want better hardware in order to better enjoy those games anyway. So I'm not worried about people ultimately buying the Pro. It's just going to be a matter of, can they have some really cool features for the Pro? I don't think Insomniac is going to have multiplayer. I think Brian Interhart made it pretty clear in an interview that he did where he was explaining why Spider-Man 2 didn't have co-op, despite the fact that, you know, you're playing as two spider heroes. You can switch anytime. You can join. You have Peter or Miles, depending on who you're controlling, join in on you and other characters. So it looks like a co-op game, but it's not. And it's just a philosophy thing. They just don't want to have a multiplayer game in their single player experience. And also, really, I think the real answer also is like from a technical standpoint, because they spend a ton of money and still barely had time to get Spider-Man 2 out the door. You know, they had to cut a bunch of stuff. So adding a multiplayer component on top of that is just probably just a lot of hassle that they don't want to deal with. They just want to be able to get the single player experience as great as possible, because that's the bread and butter of the series, and then worry about that stuff later. But after the Great Web got canceled, I don't see them pursuing multiplayer. I think they're, especially after they had to cut a bunch of stuff for Spider-Man 2. I think the focus going forward is just, especially from Sony, to work as efficiently as possible on their single player games they have coming up. So they're not in a position where they have to rush stuff, and they're not in a position where they're over budget. I think Spider-Man 3 is going to be a lot more focused. I think they're going to just focus on single player games for now. Obviously, I'm not going to get into the specific roadmap for Insomniac, but because of the leaks, but Insomniac is, and that was made very clear when the Great Web was canceled. They want Insomniac to focus on single player games going forward, and single player games only. So that's all you're going to get from Insomniac for at least over the next 10 years. Spider-Man 3, I would expect Spider-Man 3 to come out on the PlayStation 6, and I'm estimating that's going to be 2028. So I think it'll be like Miles Morales, potentially, where it'll be a launch title for the PS6, but it'll potentially also be playable on the 5. Specifically, it'll be optimized probably for the PS5 Pro. Because the reason why this generation got off to a bad start was because of the pandemic and the supply, which caused all these supply chain issues. But if they wait until like 2028, potentially, to drop the 6, then I think they're going to have more people adopting it. But they're really going to have to blow people away with the 6, because the jump from PS3 to PS4 was insane. That was massive. The jump from the 4 to the 5 wasn't as big, especially in terms of like performance, graphics, like, and then the supply chain issues made it worse, but it wasn't like a massive leap. The biggest chain leap for me was the removing the load times. But you know, we weren't getting 60 FPS on every game, so it wasn't even like fully optimized. We got some really, we got a few really great games that really showed off the graphic, but for the most part, there was nothing really on the 5, at least visual wise, that was like, and performance was like, oh my god, this is so much. This is truly a next, like it wasn't really like that for most games. J Shock Blast. Did we get a pre-order link today? If I had to guess, I'd say, I don't think they do. I think they are going to be like, here's the Pro, this is what it does, here are the specs and all this other nerd stuff, and then they're going to say, tune in for more at next week's State of Play. And then at the State of Play, they're going to focus more on the game aspect, showing off gameplay captured on the Pro, and showing off games that are coming up that you'll be able to play on the Pro, and then they'll drop the pre-order link and info. They could still do it today, but I think there's a really good chance that they wait until the State of Play, because I don't think they want to start setting up pre-orders unless the presentation is going to have gameplay. Like if they're not talking games today, if they're not showing games, then it doesn't make sense from a marketing standpoint to try to start selling the Pro now. Foam stars too, imagine. At least that's not what I would do. Like if my plan today was to not really show games and just focus on the technical specs of the Pro, I wouldn't be like, buy it, because I know I'm going to get roasted on the internet. I'm going to be like, here's a tease. This is the Pro. We're going to have more information next week at the State of Play, as well as games. What I would do, I would also tease a game. Like I would also tease an announcement. I would say, check out more information next week at our Sony State of Play, where we're going to have in-depth look at gameplay captured on the PS5 Pro, as well as presentations from insert studios here, to like Sucker Punch, or or Ben Studios. I do in exciting world I do stuff like that to hype it up, and then I'd drop everything at the show once everyone's hyped. Yeah, it's only going to be 9 minutes. So I think it's really just going to be hyper focused on the tech, and then they're going to tease and say, come back next week or whatever for a bigger look. That's what I think it is going to go. Remember last time we had a showcase? Yeah, last it was May 2023 when we got the Spider-Man 2 gameplay world premiere and Phantom Blade Zero. It was a fun show. You copping a new iPhone? I've never bought an iPhone in my life, and I don't plan to. I don't think the Pro is going to be a huge update graphic wise. I think the biggest change is because a properly utilized PS5 game is already graphically like incredible. Is really like if you look at Rise of Hydra, God of War Ragnarok, even if you look at Suicide Squad, just look at the cutscenes, look at Dead Space remake, proper next gen, proper current gen games already look amazing. I'm not expecting, when they're properly done, when graphics are a focus, so I'm not really expecting like a major upgrade in that. I think the biggest thing is going to be performance. Like, are we getting clearer resolution? Sure. But also, are we getting like consistent 60 or higher FPS, that sort of thing? Fire Spirit has a horror game set for 2025. You'll be watching in the background. Fair enough. Red Dead 2 PS5 release. Yeah, I heard that's a thing that's coming. Yeah, what else is coming out? I know they're doing I think they're doing another Bully. They're doing the Bully and Red Dead 2 next gen upgrade. There's a new Mafia game coming out next year. Of course, you have Borderlands 4, Monster Hunter Wilds. You're gonna have Rise of Hydra, GTA 6. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Need the Days Gone too. Sadly, that's not happening. Apparently Sony execs made it very clear they want Ben to do something new and not make a sequel to Days Gone. Do I know anything about the Spider-Man 2 DLC? You're gonna have to be more specific. Love your videos, keep it up. Appreciate you. But Wukong needs a PS5 Pro. I don't even think it needs a Pro. It just needs better. It's not even like a Pro issue. It's just poorly optimized. Like it's not even like a problem of it just needing a Pro. It's just not, because it's not like that technically demanding of a game. It's just not properly optimized, and they just need to release a performance patch and it'll be all right. You think the upgrade will be free for Red Dead 2? I think it'll be reduced. You missed a fair bit of stream. I don't know what the question was. A Blue Beetle game would be fire. Yes, it would. Kingdom Hearts 4? No. Kingdom Hearts 4 is a myth at this point. If you're looking for news on Kingdom Hearts 4, I wouldn't even expect news about Kingdom Hearts 4. If I was a Kingdom Hearts fan, I would just not have any expectations and just go into every game event with just not expecting to see it, just so I can be very surprised. Like if they are planning to do anything for Kingdom Hearts 4, it would probably be at the Game Awards, maybe the State of Play. Ignis did tease a big world premiere that could potentially happen at either the State of Play or the Game Awards, which tells me it's third party. So that could have been Kingdom Hearts 4, but based on the clues that he was leaving, I think it's a Capcom game, which means it's probably Resident Evil 9, because they already teased that one. You asking if I think it's likely Spider-Man 3? Oh yeah, Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I didn't answer that directly, but I did talk about that because somebody else was asking something about that. Yeah, I was talking about how the PS if the PS5 Pro is going to have maybe another 3 years, maybe 4. I think the PS4, I think the PS6 is going to drop maybe 2028. So I would expect potentially Spider-Man 3 to be like a Miles Morales situation where it's PS5 Pro and PS6. But it's gonna depend on how many people are have adopted the PS5 because the issue is because of the supply chain issues. There was just a massive amount of people that were still on the Pro on the PS4 compared to the PS5. I think literally half of the Sony player base at one point was on PS4. So it was hard at first to justify having a bunch of PS5 exclusive games. So they're going to have to monitor that information. But yeah, until more people catch up, I think it's more likely that they're going to have a few launch titles for PS6, but it's going to be stuff that's still on PS5. Definitely not PS4 support though. It also depends on how advanced the 6 is. But I doubt it'll be like a massive upgrade over the Pro. Tell them release a proper portable. It could be. I mean, I can't tell them anything, but I don't know if another I mean, they technically already did release a portable, but yeah, not like I'm assuming you mean like a proper like a Switch competitor, not something where you're just playing your PS5 in another room in your house. And I don't know if they think there's like a market for that. Maybe, you know, the Switch, Nintendo pretty much has the handheld market on lock, but there's obviously still a market for portables, clearly. But I don't know if Sony is that invested in it because Nintendo has that niche, but the future of gaming isn't portables. The future of gaming is the cloud. So I don't think it's necessary for I don't think it's probably a good idea for Sony to invest long term in another handheld in a market where Nintendo already has handhelds on lock, when in the future everything is going to the cloud anyway. So I think they would probably be better positioned to try to get in on that cloud gaming train before Xbox, you know, dominates that. Because Xbox obviously lost the console war partially because they decided consoles aren't the future. Let's just focus on the cloud, which is their Xbox Game Pass, and they've been expanding that. So I think Sony should instead just focus on extending the viability of PlayStation Plus and trying to position themselves to better handle the transition to cloud gaming rather than trying to make another product, another console type device. Like, try to integrate more with, like, if they can beat Xbox to like a Steam integration, I think that would be huge. Miles Morales' original symbiote suit that had him in a black suit, like a logo in the hood, is missing from Spider-Man 2. I have no idea if they'll add it. I know there's a lot of suits that from previous games people want them to still add. I have no idea which ones, if any, they'll add. How would you feel about a AAA Aquaman game set in Underworld Atlantis? I would have no issue with that because it would be, I'm not a big Aquaman fan, but it sounds cool because it's not Batman. If it's not Batman, I will support it 100%. And I'm not opposed to underwater games. I played a lot of Aqua. I played a lot of Echo the Dolphin back in the day. So I think underwater stuff is cool. Xbox slowly, not even slowly. they've aggressively surrendered. His W is looking to license out their IPs like Batman or Superman. Do you think Sony would be interested in looking at those characters? I think Sony should definitely look into DC. Obviously, they have a working relationship with Marvel. But if Warner Brothers is legitimately interested in licensing out their IPs to other companies outside, yeah, Sony should definitely hop on there, especially if Warner Brothers, because they're in a weaker position, is going to offer them a more friendly deal than Marvel, because Marvel, those Marvel licensing deals are crazy. Like, they're very expensive. So if I'm Sony, I'm definitely looking in, making some phone calls to Warner Brothers and seeing what kind of deals I can get licensing wise. Because if I can license out, some DC games from WB, have my one of my studios work on it, and I can get a significantly more friendly licensing deal compared to Marvel, I'm making a big push on DC 100%. Yeah, a Batman game, I'm doing Batman, I'm doing Superman, I'm doing all of it. If I can get a friendly DC, I wouldn't even do like one game. I would like literally set it up where I'm like, okay, Warner Brothers, we're interested in making DC games. Let's do a deal where we'll work out a licensing thing long term, maybe for like the next 10 years, see if you get them with that, and try to lock in a really company friendly rate, and just have access, just have the option to have a bunch of different characters covered, and then just pick which studios I want to work on it. I would 100% do that if I was Sony. The latest news on GTA 6 is that there's no news. Somebody posted a rumor on Twitter that some devs had reached out to him and said that GTA 6 was delayed to 2026. And he said that the guy was Liam, and he said that big insiders like Jason Schreier would be soon talking about it this week to confirm what he was saying. And hilariously, Jason Schreier came out and straight up said, nah, this is cap. There is no such delay. So for now, there's no GTA 6 news. If EA's third unannounced Marvel game is still happening, then it's super early in development, and I have no idea when we're going to hear about it. Imagine a Marvel and DC game. Yeah, that would be trickier to pull off, because Warner Brothers and Disney would have to come together. And like, I can't imagine how, like, in terms of licensing, they would have to make that make sense for the studio that's developing it. I don't know how that would work. This is a creepy thought. GTA 6 release date in 2026 on the PS6. That was never happening regardless. No way the PS6 is coming out that soon. Do you think Sony's relationship with Marvel would affect their chance? No, not at all. Sony's relationship with Marvel, it's not like Sony and Marvel are best friends or anything. Like, obviously, Insomniac has a good relationship with Marvel because they work with them more directly. Sony's just a corporation who is working with Disney out of necessity. Sony Sony bought the film rights. That's the only reason really they have to deal with it that much. Sony bought the film rights to Spider-Man when they were available, when Marvel was vulnerable, and now because Disney wanted to start their MCU, they're sharing them with Disney, and because Marvel was looking to get some people to work on games, that's why they ended up doing the Insomniac stuff, because Microsoft said, "Nah, we're not interested in making Marvel games. Thank you, but no thank you." And then, so Sony was like, "Okay, well, we got some studios. We're interested in the Marvel brand. Let's make something happen." There's no reason they wouldn't work with Warner Brothers. It's not like if they work with Warner Brothers to do a DC game, Marvel would be like, "Oh, well, we're not gonna let you pay us to make Marvel games anymore." Like, no, that's not happening. Same time, Black Panther is super early. Not really. It's not the same. It's not the same. Black Panther is early in that it's going to be a while before it comes out, but they have the studio. They've started work on it. They've started concepting. They're far enough along that at least have a teaser trailer where they can confidently talk about it. What the last thing we heard from Jeff Grubb, it was so early they hadn't even decided on which character to build the game around. So if they're not at that point yet, they haven't started on the game at all. Like like basically, that's still the planning phase. Like that's not even really development. Like they have not started on doing anything. Like, because it takes time, resources, assets to put together like any sort of meaningful trailer and showcase. If they haven't even picked a hero yet, they're nowhere near that phase. They're not even at the announcement phase yet. If they haven't picked a character to build around yet, that means that means they don't have a story. They don't have a concept. They don't have any voice actors. they don't have a script. They don't have anything. There's no way they'd be ready to announce it. No Spider-Man deal. Yeah, today is about the Pro. This is not a state of play. They are specifically here to show off the Pro. The state of play is where they're going to be promoting games and stuff heavily. This is just about the Pro. Sub Levy, Levi. The Slim looks like a Temu knockoff version of the OG PS5 model. Would you like another Mortal Kombat and DC game? Except that you mean like a Mortal Kombat versus DC game? I don't really care honestly about those games. I tried out Injustice 2, it's okay. I'm just in generally not a Mortal Kombat NetherRealm fan anymore. I don't play that many fighting games to begin with, but I just don't enjoy the NetherRealm's combat style. So my only interest in like Injustice 3, for example, which is the next game they're doing, is mainly the story. I don't really care whether one way or another if they do another crossover. From the rumor I heard is that from the same guy who was right about the Pro getting revealed this week, is that the state of play is next week. So according to my calendar, that checks out. Yeah. So yeah, one way or another is happening in the next few weeks. So Ignis said the Pro gets revealed this week, and the state of play is either going to be the 19th or the 20th, which is next Thursday or Friday. Jeff Grubb said the last thing he heard was that the state of play was happening sometime around in the last week of September, which is which is that week technically starts on the 23rd because they're not going to have it on the 22nd. So that would be in between the 23rd and the 26th. But realistically, that would be between the 23rd and the 25th because the Tokyo Game Show is on the 26th. So if it was in the last week of September, it would either be realistically it would realistically be the 25th because I doubt they'll have it on a Monday. So it would either be Tuesday the 24th or the 25th, if going by what Jeff Grubb said. But based on Ignis, it's either going to be next Thursday or Friday. What's up, Nava? Justice 3. So Injustice 3 was supposed to be the next game from NetherRealm. They were not originally going to do an MK1. They were working on Injustice 3, but they did a engine overhaul, and then they got hit with the pandemic, which caused a bunch of delays. So Ed Boon decided that it would make more sense to pivot to a new Mortal Kombat game and then do Injustice next, because he thought, based on everything that happened, it would take too long to get the Injustice game out, and they thought they could make another Mortal Kombat game much faster. So they ended up doing MK1 instead of Injustice 3. But he said their next game after MK1 would be Injustice 3. Do I anticipate getting the Pro will be as difficult as getting the 5? Not at all. The supply chain issues has been largely resolved. That was the main issue with the Pro, because it dropped right during the pandemic, and there were just a ton of supply chain issues. So they literally just didn't have enough physical consoles to sell to keep up with the demand at launch. That's why you had all those problems. But now anyone who wants a PS5 can get one. They completely resolved that. We got past the supply chain issues. Everywhere is stocked with PS5s. You have no problems finding them anywhere. So I don't expect there to be any problems people getting their hands on the Pro. Why is Insomniac taking a whole year for DLC? I mean, God of War Ragnarok took a whole year for a DLC. I don't see what the big deal is. Insomniac also it's insane. People keep forgetting this. Insomniac was hit with arguably the worst cyber attack in history, at least in the history of the gaming industry. Back in December. I understand why people can't like factor that into their thinking when they're asking why certain stuff isn't happening. Like, they're working on the Wolverine game, which they're on a deadline for. They were already behind schedule on Spider-Man 2 to begin with. That's why they had to cut a bunch of content and release New Game Plus after launch. And then on top of that, they got hit with one of the worst cyber attacks in the history of gaming. And people are like, why is DLC taking so long? Like, what are we talking about? like, yeah. of course they didn't have the DLC. They never said there's a reason they didn't announce before the game came out that it's coming with DLC. Because they knew it wasn't going to, they based on their pipeline, they weren't going to have it for launch like they had it for Spider-Man PS4. That's why they didn't announce anything. They had to make sure they got Spider-Man 2 out the door, which required them to cut a bunch of content. Then they had to make sure they got the New Game Plus update up. Then they got hit with the cyber attack. So they had to make sure they got the New Game Plus update out in a timely manner. Plus, they had to make sure production went forward on Wolverine, because that got completely messed up. Like, then they had to lay off 50 people. Like, At least, like I heard the number I heard was 10% of their staff they got laid off. So like, yeah, DLC is going to take a little while. I've not played Wukong yet. I have so many games to go through, and I wasn't in a rush to play Wukong because of the performance stuff. I was waiting for them to release a performance patch for the PS5. You have to literally not care about money if you buy a Pro. What a total desperate cash grab. That's a weird take. You care about money, you're buying it the minute one, and you bleed green. Yeah, I understand the pocket watching too. Like, just say you can't afford the PS5 Pro and move on. I understand why people are pocket watching over this. Like, you should not care at all. Like, it'd be one thing if this was like a situation like a PS6 where it's going to have exclusive games, because that would be unfair. Because yeah, it took a while for people just to get the Pro, just to get the normal PS5. So then to release another system and lock games behind it, yeah, that would be you know, a cash grab. You could argue that would be kind of messed up. It's a console upgrade. It's just for people who want a better version of their existing console with more features and better performance. It literally does not affect you at all. If you are satisfied with your PS5, you can just keep playing your PS5 and nothing will change. But if you like what they're announcing for the Pro and decide that's worth it, then you can update it. Then you can just upgrade. You can literally sell your PS5 and upgrade. I understand the hostility that people are having, other than, like, I think literally it's just people who can't afford it, who are just lashing out at people, because there's no other reason to be mad about this. Like, let people, if people want to get the Pro, it's their business. Let them get it. Like, it's weird. Like, it's not your money. Like, why do you care unless you can't afford it and you're mad? Like, there's no other reason to get mad unless you just are mad you can't afford it. Because someone else buying a Pro does not affect you at all. They're not putting exclusives on the Pro. So any game that's going to have support on the Pro, you're going to be able to play on the 5. So it literally doesn't matter. It's just weird. It's just weird behavior. It's be like, oh, I'm content. Literally all I had to say was, I'm personally not interested in the Pro. And granted, you're saying this without even seeing the presentation. Like, you don't know what to confirm. You don't know what all the features are going to be. You're just going off the concept of it, that it's not going to be worth the money. You don't even know how much it's going to be. Like, the only logical thing to say would just to be, oh, I'm not interested. You continue allowing them to do this. I'm not. What are you talking about? You are attacking people, because now you're saying they have no agency. You're saying these people can't have no agency. They're just going to buy. They're under hypnosis. Like, no, they're grown adults who can decide what to do with their money. You're 100% mad because you can't afford the Pro. That's literally what it is. There's no reason to be mad at Sony. They're doing the same thing they did before. Like, they dropped the PS4, and then they dropped the PS4 Pro, and then they dropped the PS5. So we know this is what they were going to do. They're going to drop the PS5, they're going to then drop the Pro, and then they were going to drop the 6. We know how this works. If you don't want the Pro, you can just be like, I'm not looking to upgrade. I'm content with my 5. Not this whole weird, oh, what a cash grab. I can't believe anyone would spend money. That's desperate. Oh, Sony should be ashamed for making, like, no, that's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. If anyone doesn't want to buy it, they don't have to. For an example, see the PlayStation 2 VR 2. Nobody wanted that, so they didn't want it. They didn't think it was necessary, so they just didn't buy it. It'll be the same with the Pro. If people think it's interesting and worth their money, they're gonna buy it. If not, they're not gonna buy it. Like, just say you're mad you can't afford it and move on. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. When did it drop in the PS3 Pro? 2027. You'll get people. That's literally what it is. People want people are conscious, at least, of how their opinions are going to come off. So they'll try to obfuscate the real reason for why they feel a certain way, instead of telling you what it is. Instead of just saying, I'm kind of mad because I can't buy the Pro. There's gonna be like, they're gonna try to stand on their soapbox and be like, I'm defending the gamers. I'm pushing back against greed. Or no, you're not. If money wasn't an issue, you would just buy the Pro and not think about it. Or if you legitimately just weren't interested, you would just be like, not for me, and move on. But the second someone starts grandstanding and trying to make it about morality, it's cope. It's 100% cope. The second they try to make it about act like they're a civil rights leader or something, it's cope. 100%. It's 100% cope. It's literally cope. All right. It is time.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to
talk
about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds.
Okay, they're gonna start off promoting the 5.
Frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second.
Just to tease us a little bit.
PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination.
Very nice.
Custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds.
Ripped Apart was amazing.
And data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited. Tempest 3D
I see a lot of games same.
An unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games.
People saying that
the
PS5 doesn't have games is crazy.
To know exactly
Returnal.
Finally,
I remember that.
The DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of you.
Control.
It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities.
No games is crazy.
When I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players.
Yep, graphics or
Fidelity
performance.
modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution.
There's The Last of Us.
These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing.
Spider-Man 2. Look at all these games that they don't have.
30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize
Ghost of
frame rate
Tsushima
and interactivity, typically choosing to run 60
Sorry,
frames per
Goat
second.
of Tsushima.
mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved.
Is that performance RT that Somniac is famous
When
for?
asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to,
Yep.
at the high frame rates that players typically prefer.
Yep.
To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways.
Ooh.
Here's what we call the Big 3.
Larger GPU, advanced ray
First,
tracing.
we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses.
Ooh.
The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
45% faster rendering.
Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing.
Gotta have that ray tracing
taking
upgrade.
A streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library.
AI-driven
PlayStation
upscaling.
Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate.
Ooh.
Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro.
Ooh, okay. So we
It
are
has
gonna get some
huge amounts
gameplay.
of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second.
We might get the pre-order.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
We might actually get the pre-order, link today.
Fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
It looks the same. Granted, you're watching it on YouTube.
And Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that
You're watching a
PS5
YouTube
Pro
stream.
is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5.
You're not going to see a huge difference.
Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus performance mode on PS5.
You're watching
both of which
a 1080
frames
stream.
per second.
You're not even watching a
What we see
4K
here
stream.
is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer.
Okay.
And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
Looking forward to playing Spider-Man 2 on the
Overall,
Pro.
some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the Big 3 showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West.
Shout out to Forbidden
Apart from
West.
the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Door closed.
Cinema.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second.
What's the storage though?
That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy,
Ooh, Hogwarts Legacy.
allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety
Ooh, that
of
looks
reflective
good.
surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family.
Yes, sir.
Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Ooh. And this is what it looks like. Officially. Yep. Pretty matches the designs. So we got Spider-Man 2. Definitely looks cleaner. Got Final Fantasy, is that 7 Rebirth? Horizon Forbidden West.
Close your eyes.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
That Demon Souls. There's Ripped Apart.
What's with all the neon?
Is that Alan Wake? Assassin's Creed Shadows? I think that's Gran Turismo. More Spider-Man 2 with Little Venom. There's a Hogwarts Legacy. That director's cut is coming. Some more Gran Turismo. The Stellar Blade. Oh, that's First Descendant. Yeah, that's Alan Wake 2. PS5 Pro, available November 7th. $69.99, so $700. $700. It comes out November 7th. So that's around the time the Lego Horizon game comes out. So that's the Pro. The official look at the Pro is definitely, it's around what I expected it. I thought it was going to be minimum 600, but ooh, 700. That there was I'm surprised they announced the pricing this early. I'm glad they showed gameplay of the Pro in action, but I think they need to promote some more. I don't think people are really going to fully embrace it until they see the state of play, because I want to know some more features. Yeah, I think there's going to be a blog. Hold up. I think they're going to do a blog. So let me check it out, because the blog's probably going to have more detail. Let me pull up PlayStation's blog, because they're definitely going to have more detail in the blog. They have to, because I want to know about backwards compatibility. I want to know about storage. Like performance wise, that all looks and sounds great, but I want to know what else. Especially we're going 700. That's beefy. I thought I was going to go 6. I heard 7 thrown around, but I thought they were going to end up. I thought they would end on 6. All right, let's see. PlayStation. I want to check the blog that I know they're posting. Let's see. PlayStation blog. Here we go. Let's see. No, they didn't post it yet. They just post a preview of the presentation. So I'm gonna tap in to the blog and wait, because I think they're definitely going to have some more info. Where's the Spider-Man DLC? It's a PlayStation 5 Pro presentation. They're not going to be promoting new games. That was never the expectation. That was too short. I mean, they told us beforehand it was going to be 9 minutes. I mentioned that yesterday in my video. That was only going to be a 9-minute presentation. That's why I tried to set expectations. I made my video yesterday saying, hey, it's only going to be 9 minutes, and they're probably just going to focus on the Pro. Pre-orders begin September 26. All right, bet. That's the day of the Tokyo. That's the day of the Tokyo Game Show. Interesting. That's interesting timing. So the same day as the Tokyo Game Show, pre-orders go live. Interesting. So I think I mean, that kind of confirms what we already knew, that they're going to have a lot of they're going to have some stuff to show off for the Pro at the Tokyo Game Show, and that's supposed to be after the State of Play as well. Series S is holding games back 100%. Sad to go. Appreciate you. Spider-Man 2 on PS4 Pro. Look, yeah, it looks great. They all look great. Like, even watching on my stream at 1080p, I could tell, like, visually the games look really sharp. And not having to I mean, I don't care about the disk drive. I have a disk drive, PS5. I never use it. I literally don't care. But I think it's just 700 in general is steep, especially in this economy. But it's only $100 more than I was expecting. So I'm not personally worried about it, but I do want to get some more features. That's why I was waiting for the blog. Here it is. Thank you, Mr. Shockblast. My podcast partner. And one of definitely in my top 5 best friends. I would say Jay Shockblast, definitely top 5. Top 5 bestie. Welcome to PlayStation 5 Pro, the most visually impressive way to play games. Yep, so here's the blog we were expecting. Features including GPU upgrade, advanced ray tracing, and new PlayStation, blah, 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 blah. Over the last 4 years since the launch of PS5, we worked hard to continually evolve the console experience and deliver the great games our players expect from us. Today, I'm incredibly proud to announce the next step in that evolution and welcome PlayStation 5 Pro to the PlayStation family, our most advanced and innovative console hardware to date. We developed PS5 Pro with deeply engaged players and game creators in mind, as many have asked for a console that runs even higher fidelity graphics with smoother frame rate at 60 FPS. We achieved this on the Pro with several key performance features. So they talk about the upgraded GPU, 67% more compute units, 20% faster memory, 45% faster rendering. They went to advanced ray tracing. This is all the big 3. Okay, what else we got? They went over the big 3 in the stream. PS5 Pro provides gamers with amazing graphics at a high frame rate. You can hear Mark Cerny, lead architect for PS5 Pro, discuss the key innovations from PS5 Pro in the following video presentation. This presentation provides a deep dive into the key performance features that make the Pro truly special. We watched that. Other enhancements include PS5 Pro Game Boost, which can apply to more than 8,500 backward compatible PS4 games playable on the PS5 Pro. This feature may stabilize or improve the performance of supported PS4 and PS5 games. Enhanced image quality for PS4 Pro games is also available to improve the resolution on select PS4 games. PS5 Pro will also launch with the latest wireless technology, Wi-Fi 7, in territories supporting the standard. VR and 8K gaming are also supported. Ooh, 8K. It's humbling to see how many creators have embraced the latest technology from PS5 Pro. And several games will be patched with free software updates for gamers to take advantage of PS5 Pro's features. These games can be identified with a PS5 Pro enhanced label within their title. Some games you can look forward to include blockbuster hits from PlayStation Studios and our third-party partners, such as Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Demon's Souls, Dragon Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Gran Turismo 7, Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon Forbidden West, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, The Crew Motorfest, The First Descendant, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and more. We kept the look of the PS5 Pro consistent with the overall PS5 family of products. You'll notice the height is the same as the original PS5, and the width is the same size as the current PS5 model to accommodate higher performance specs. Players can add an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive or swap out console covers when they become available. All right, so that answers that. So it has a swappable disk drive, and you won't have to worry about not being able to use your covers. So I know me and Jay Shockblast had that concern, mainly Jay, of not being able to use our Spider-Man 2 custom covers on the Pro. So we can add the covers straight from the 5 to the Pro, no problem. And if you are a disk drive person, you can just add it to the Pro. So it will have the disk drive, is just swappable. Pro fits perfectly within the 5 family, and product is compatible with PS5 accessories currently available, including PlayStation VR 2, PlayStation Portal, DualSense Edge, Access Controller, Pulse Elite, and Pulse Explorer. User interface and network services will also remain the same as PS5. The PS5 Pro will be available this holiday at a manufacturer suggested retail of $699.99 USD, and other currencies that don't matter. And it will include a 2 terabyte SSD. Let's go. 2 terabytes. The rumors are true. All right. It also come with a DualSense wireless and a copy of Astro's Playroom, fully installed, of course. PS5 Pro is available as a diskless console with the option to purchase the currently available disk drive for PS5 separately. It launches on November 7th, 2024, and will be available at participating retailers and directly from PlayStation at direct.playstation.com. Pre-orders will begin on September 26, 2024. Our PS5 journey would not be possible without the millions of players that have supported us through the years and have shared with us the love of gaming. Whichever console option players choose, whether it's PS5 or PS5 Pro, we wish to bring everyone the very best gaming experience that fit their needs. Okay, so there you have it. That is the PS5 Pro. So the highlights so far, from what they promoted, 2 terabytes, much better than the 5. They really emphasized the improved performance. So basically, you're not going to have to choose between performance and fidelity. It's going to run at the highest possible fidelity with the high 60 FPS performance. It's going to have support for 8K gaming. It's going to have performance boost for the PS4 that's compatible. It's not for all PS4 titles. I think they said 8500. Nothing about further backwards compatibility beyond the 4 was mentioned. It's going to have a swappable disk drive, and you're going to be able to put your PS5 plates, transfer them over. So this is all in the PlayStation blog they just dropped. That's all the info they've had so far. And the retail is $700. Question with the PS5 Pro. Also, they're going to add free PlayStation 5 Pro upgrades to specific games, and they gave a list of those games. Those include, of course, Marvel Spider-Man 2, First Ascendant, Horizon, Forbidden West, Ratchet and Clank. A bunch of first party and third party games are going to get specific free PlayStation 5 Pro updates. I think the prices are going to be the same. I don't think standard AAA prices are going. I do think GTA 6 is going to be more expensive, but I don't think pricing across the board is going to be different. I think $70 is the standard rate for AAA games. It'll remain the same. I think you're going to be the same. You're going to have like some different. You're going to have some games going to be free to play, based on size. Some games might be 60 or 50, or 40. But yeah, for like a standard AAA single player game, the standard price is going to be, or whatever. I think the standard price is going to remain 70, except for GTA 6. Yep, it's 700. 700 for the Pro. Let's be honest, nobody could tell the difference between the Pro and Pro gameplay. And yeah, as I mentioned before, I could tell the difference from a fidelity standpoint, but you're not going to be able to really see the difference, because I know a lot of people are watching on their phones. Other people are watching on their computers. Like you're watching a 1080p stream, so you're not even really going to be able to see anything. Like in terms of like the improved fidelity performance, you're not really going, unless you have a really good TV and you're actually playing it, you're not really going to be able to meaningfully tell the difference just by looking at it. Like at the very least, you need to watch a 4K video, but even then, like YouTube is downgraded, so depending on what the settings are. So I was mainly interested in the features. I know that the games are going to look great. I know they're going to perform great. I was just concerned about what the other features will be. I wasn't expecting to be blown away visually by watching a YouTube stream of someone else playing the game, because I understand the tech behind it and why that's not going to translate. And also, it's not a PS6, so I wasn't expecting it to be like this massive jump in graphics when the games that they're supporting already look great to begin with. What's up, Amazing? You're happy having a PS5 and a high-end PC? $7. So the disk drive? No, it has. Nope. It's $700, and it has a swappable disk drive. So if you want the disk drive, which most people don't, but if you're still one of the people who use the Blu-ray disk drive, you want to do that, you can buy the disk drive and install it. It comes with the option. Instead of having a digital and a disc version, they just designed it to be swappable. So if you want the disk drive, you can buy it and throw it in there. If you don't, you can just buy it as is. 700 with tax is 850. What country do you live in? What? Your government is robbing you, sir. What? The tax in your country is $150? That's crazy. That's actually, like, we meme that taxation is theft. That's actual theft. Adding $150 in sales tax is ridiculous. No way. How have you not overthrown your government by now? That's ridiculous. That's insane. You know, a creator who flies to the US to buy stuff because it's cheaper than importing to Brazil. That's ridiculous. Wow. I would never. Like, you know how fast we would ride over here? Like in USD, that's $6.99. So if sales tax, if I bought the Pro, it would be like $702. $702, $704 with sales tax. If I bought it where I'm living right now. $850 with sales tax is ridiculous. $750 after tax. Y'all need to move. Y'all need to move to America. Y'all need to move to America. $750 after tax is ridiculous. No, that's not a standard thing. That's ridiculous. That's outrageous. $833 for you? No way. Bro, I'm not living there. You paid $900 for your 5? Bro, there are states in America where there's no sales tax at all. Like we have sales tax in my state. So for me, buying the PS5 Pro is going to be like $703, $704. Some states, it's just going to be $699. Straight up. You're telling me in other places it's going to be $750 and as much as $850? No. No way. $7% sales tax in Pennsylvania. Bro, I've lived in Pennsylvania most of my life. If I buy something for $69.99, it's going to be, the end price is going to be $74. I bought my PS5 online. I did not have to pay that much. That's still ridiculous. $850? Ooh. $150 tax is outrageous. No, y'all got to do something. Y'all can't let that slide. Y'all cannot let that slide. $750 after tax is 100% not America. That's not the case. Different states in America, they don't have a uniform sales tax. Some states don't even have sales tax at all. This drive is $80. So assuming you don't live in a country where the government is just completely just abusing you, it's $700 for the console, and then another $80 if you want a disk drive. So if you want the disk drive, it's roughly $790. What's up, Nava? We just went through the blog to see what other features the Pro has, and I'm just absolutely in awe at how bad taxes are in some places, where it's going to cost some people $850 to get the Pro without adding anything else, because their governments are just completely corrupt and robbing them blind. What PS5 do I have? I have the launch edition of the PS5 disc version. The state of play is supposed to be next week. Let me check Twitter. I don't think they announced anything. Yeah, state of play is trending. Yeah, nothing new there. So the state of play, according the latest rumor we had was from Ignis, who said he was right about the PS5 Pro announcement happening this week, and he said the state of play is going to be next week, according to his sources. He said the 19th or the 20th, so probably the 19th. They like to do Thursdays. Why are Europeans being robbed? Because they don't stand up to their government. This is what happens when you don't stand up to your government. They're not afraid of you. They're not afraid of you over in Europe. So they think they can do whatever they want. $825 in India is crazy. I would never stand for it. I would never stand for that kind of sales tax in America. That's outrageous. That is outrageous. Should you wait for the Ghost of Tsushima 2 bundle? Honestly, there's literally no rush. Like, even before I saw the pricing, I didn't think there was going to be a rush. I know there's going to be a GTA 6 bundle. There's probably going to be a Ghost of Tsushima 2 bundle. Like you don't have to rush. If the money isn't an issue, then yeah, do whatever you want. But if it's something you have to at least think about, you could definitely wait. It's definitely wait to see if you can get some kind of discount on it at a later date. Because it's not necessary. Especially like if you were looking for Ghost of Tsushima 2, that's not coming out until next year at the earliest. And like a lot of the big games, like if you look at the games that are getting PS5 PS5 Pro patches that are coming up, it's nothing that you probably are dying to play on the Pro. Like Marvel Spider-Man 2, sure, you may that's already really good performance, really good visuals, and they'll probably have some story DLC later. But other than that, like you want to replay Rift Apart on the Pro? Do you want to replay Ghost of Tsushima or Alan Wake 2? Like Assassin's Creed Shadow is one of the new games they promoted. I think that's the only major new game come out this year that they promoted for the Pro. I assume Lego Horizon is going to run on the Pro, but I don't know how much you're interested in that. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like the biggest games that you want a Pro for are like next year. That's like Monster Hunter Wilds, GTA 6, Borderlands 4, Mafia, potentially Ghost of Tsushima 2, Death Stranding 2. Like you can definitely wait until next year. There's no rush to get the Pro. Here's everyone's chance to switch to PC. If I paid $700 for a PC, I would not be able to get anything remotely of value in terms of gaming. For modern gaming, like that, you might as well just use that $700 on a Pro. You'll get day one access to the games that are going to take like 2 years to come on PC anyway. You'll get really great visuals and performance. And the only thing you'll have to do is press play. You won't have to worry about installing drivers and moving folders around. You literally just press play and play the game. like if you want a really good PC that's going to be able to play the latest games, like you're spending at least $1,500. Bare minimum $1,500. $700. To be very clear, let's not try to frame the pricing of the Pro and the accessories from the perspective of countries with just ridiculous pricing because of taxes. Like that's not the norm. Like I know I might be biased because I'm in America, but America is the biggest deal, and like there's a reason USD is the top pricing they listed. Like that's not going to be the normal experience of someone paying $900 to get a PS5 Pro plus a disk drive. Most people are not having that. Personally, most people don't really care about the disk drive. Let's be honest. We're moving to digital. We don't care. Our taxes are not. Euro is worth more than $1. I know the price. I know the value of the currency has fluctuated, so I don't know if that's currently true. But what I do know that is currently true is that America could beat Europe in a fight, and you rely on us for everything, and we're not being taxed as badly, and we have more freedom. so regardless of what the current value of the dollars are, we still win because we're not getting taxed nearly as terribly. We have way more freedom, and we can still beat you in a fight. That's just all that matters. Yeah, I'm definitely digital all the way. I have a disk drive on my PS5. I got the PS5 at launch. I have the disk drive. I've literally never used it at all, at any point. I have not bought a DVD. I've not bought a Blu-ray. I have not bought a physical game. Never. According to Jay Shockblast, $1 equals 110 USD. Boom, there you go. So we went. We're still winning. Suck it, Europe. This Pro is basically an early access beta for PS6. You always use your disk drive. I literally never use it. You said that. I'm just speaking facts. Like, I don't want to hear anything from Europe. Y'all have no rights. I don't want to hear anything from Europe right now. I want to hear any. Y'all don't even have air conditioning. I don't want to hear nothing from out of y'all. Talk to me when you have air conditioning. Y'all can't say nothing to us. But taxes, the price is crazy. Yes, certain countries have insane pricing when you factor in taxes. Like $850 with tax is ridiculous. You mean there are literally European countries that don't have air conditioning. That's like an actual thing. There are literally European countries where the population does not have air conditioning. Yeah, 800 euros is insane. Like that's ridiculous. A fan is not an air conditioner. It's not at all comparable. If you have a fan instead of an AC, you're losing out. You'll know the difference because when you walk into an actual air conditioned place and go back in front of your fan, you'll know the difference right away. Believe me, I've been in situations where it's super hot and all I have available is a fan. And there are points where it feels like the fan is just a placebo because it's blowing hot air. Then when I transitioned to a room with air conditioning, it was no contest. A fan is ridiculous. Like, no, it's not the same. They'll need the most time. So, nah, it depends on it depends entirely on what we're talking about because this is actually a thing. I was reading up on this. They do have a much higher issue when it comes to people dying from heat related deaths is a much bigger problem compared to over here where air conditioning is much more accessible. We have no restrictions on AC. You just don't see the big incentive. Like legitimately, the only real incentive is if you're real, based on what I've seen so far and what they presented, it's mainly about how badly do you want better performance and storage? Imagine mean tweeting in the UK. You be facing 25 to life. Literally. If someone says if you say something on Twitter that is deemed offensive, you could actually face jail time. I don't want to hear anything from y'all. That's literally a thing. And I don't mean threatening a world leader or a politician with violence. I mean just saying something politically incorrect could land you in jail. I'm not. Y'all can't say nothing to us. Y'all have no freedom. Y'all have no freedom, and you're overtaxed. No backwards compatibility. That's not true. The difference is that there was rumors that there would be like this really big universal backwards compatibility, and at least in terms of the blog, they did not mention that. They didn't mention anything about PS3 or PS2, but they did specifically mention they have a boost feature to improve visuals and performance for PS4 games. They said it's going to be. They specifically mentioned the boost feature applying to over 8,000 PS4 games. But they didn't mention anything about PS1, PS2, anything like that. You want to see more gameplay for Spider-Man 2 on PS4 Pro? Same. I want to see extended gameplay. Not just for the Pro, not just on the Pro. I want to see extended gameplay of the Spider-Man 2 DLC. Imagine how crazy it would have been if they just like casually was showing gameplay from the DLC. Throwing in there, chat would have erupted. Yeah, frame drops of Wukong 4K TV. Will PS5 Pro fix that? So I don't know if Wukong was specifically mentioned because they said they're adding. They didn't list the full. They didn't have the full list of games, but they're going to be sending out a patch that will make certain games that are already out compatible with the Pro to get that upgrade. They didn't have Black Wukong on that initial list, and Wukong already just has problems itself. So I don't know when that will be a thing. I know Wukong is having hard enough trouble just putting together a normal patch to improve PS5 performance. So I don't know when they're going to get the PS5 Pro patch. But yeah, I would expect eventually Wukong to get the update for the Pro, which would fix the performance issues. They confirmed Spider-Man 2 is going to be getting a PS5 Pro patch to get all that extra performance. Is Spider-Man DLC going to be on regular? So yeah, there seems to be some confusion about what a PS5 Pro is. PS5 Pro is not a new console. It is a console upgrade. It is not like a PS6. This is, I guess some people weren't around for the PS4 Pro. What it is it's an improved version of the PS5. Mid-gen refreshes, these console upgrades, they don't have their own exclusives because they're not an entirely different system. So as they went over in the blog and in the presentation, they're going to be sending out patches for games like Spider-Man 2. They mentioned Alan Wake. and some other games like Ratchet and Clank, where they're going to have basically free performance patches, so that when you get a Pro, you'll have all the benefits of the Pro on those previously released games. And obviously, new games going forward will come already to support the Pro. But for older games, they're going to be sending out specific patches so that they'll have all the increased benefits of the PS5 Pro. There's no Spider-Man DLC. They threw everything out the window because of leaks. Currently, no evidence of that. Insomniac has not said one way or another whether or not they're going to have DLC, but obviously, if they weren't going to release DLC, they would just said they're just not going to do DLC, which they haven't done. But yeah, there's no evidence to support that at all. If you're going through the leaks, that's just pure speculation that they've just thrown a bunch of stuff out. The only thing we know for sure is that the Great Web multiplayer game was canceled. That's the one thing we know for sure that was canceled. The latest, in fact, we literally saw Spider-Man 2 DLC stuff was in the game when the New Game Plus update came out, and people had access to the debug menu. They literally found part of the DLC inside the game. Yeah, so no evidence whatsoever to support that claim. So far we're just waiting for an official announcement one way or the other. You're buying day one. You're just going to trade in your PS5 for the PS5 Slim. Pro's not the money for me. I'm gonna see if I can get a review copy of the PS5 Pro. Otherwise, I'll probably get it. I don't think I'll pre-order, but I'll probably pick it up. So I think it's definitely too early to be talking about story DLC for Wolverine. Holy, we don't even have a release year for Wolverine. It's way too early to be talking about DLC. We don't even know what year Wolverine's coming out. I haven't seen a comparison. I'm sure Digital Foundry is working on one, but I don't know if they had the full specs. I didn't see the full specs yet, but I'm sure they'll have it soon. So people can, if not, they'll probably release more data next week or the week after. The week after is the Tokyo Game Show, which is the same day the pre-orders for the Pro go live. State of Play was not announced, but according to the guy who was right about the Pro being revealed this week, it's supposed to be the 19th or the 20th. We need that as a huge Spider-Man game announcement. Agreed. Yeah, if you're not in America, the PS5 Pro pricing is outrageous. I totally feel that, especially if you're like in a country where, like Brazil. Oh, holy. Yeah, this has been a disaster for Sony. Twitter is very mad, per usual, but still. Yeah, that's why I literally said this earlier too. When you asked me about if you thought the pre-order link would go live. I didn't think the pre-order link would go live today, and it didn't. But I was like, yeah, from my perspective, I don't want to put a price on anything unless I'm showing like games. And I don't mean like games that, have already came out. Like, I mean new upcoming games, updates for an existing game like Spider-Man 2. Like, if I'm just doing a tech demo, I'm not showing you the price. I'm teasing next week, and I'm going to go into more detail and make sure everyone's good and hyped after watching some game reveals. And then I'm going to be like, oh, here's the price. Pre-orders are live. Go get it. There's no way they're not at least throwing in a vert stand after this heat. Oh, 100%. They gotta do something else. I mean, I doubt they are, honestly. I think this is what it is. I think Sony is just I think what's gonna happen is Sony's just gonna count on the state of play in the Tokyo Game Show driving hype. Cause I know that's what's gonna happen. Like first of all, Twitter is not real life. The only thing that's gonna matter is the numbers. Like people are gonna complain on Twitter, but at the end of the day, they're not going to determine how well this is going to do, because people on Twitter just aren't a reflection of the greater game population, and they're very easy to sway their opinions because a lot of people are just followers, just jumping on the engagement train. If PlayStation has a really exciting state of play next week, and they show a lot of exciting games, like they show like Ghost of Tsushima 2 and Spider-Man DLC and new stuff from Santa Monica or whatever, and then the Pro goes live for pre-orders. No one's going to be talking about the $700. No one's going to be talking about. They're just going to be like, take my money. They're going to be pre-ordering. They're going to buy it. No one's going to care. It's going to be a purely Twitter thing. As long as they can build hype with games next week, no, it's not going to matter. The narrative is immediately going to change. PS5 Pro seems the same size as the original. Yeah, they specifically said they're not going to try. They're going to keep the dimensions and everything as close to the 5 to the current. They said specifically the current 5 as possible, so that you can. So they got the swap. So they'll have the swappable disk drive. You won't have to worry about your plates not being from the PS5 not being able to be transferred over. So that was a good move on their part. There is no disc version. There's only one version of the PS5 Pro, and it comes with a swappable disk drive. So if you want a disk drive, you have to buy it separately. I think it's like $80 from what I heard for a disk drive. You just buy that separately. You can buy that right now if you plan on getting a Pro, and then you can just swap it in. I think Sony made God of War Ragnarok DLC free because they wanted to get more people back to the game. That's literally all it is. They wanted to encourage, because they already made a big profit on the game. So they thought by not charging for the DLC, it'll give them goodwill and it'll incentivize people to buy God of War Ragnarok who didn't already. They can do that because God of War is a original IP. The reason why the Spider-Man 4 DLC, for example, costs money is because and probably why if Spider-Man 2 drops DLC, story DLC, that will cost money as well, is because Spider-Man is not an original IP. They don't own Spider-Man like they own God of War. So it's much more expensive to create and maintain the Spider-Man games compared to God of War. So when they're factoring pricing and stuff for Spider-Man 2 related stuff, they have to factor in the annual licensing fee they have to pay Marvel, as well as the fact that they have to pay Marvel a cut of all the profits. So they have to price things with that in mind. 800 euros with a disk drive, 900 euros with disk drive, 950 euros with stand, basically 1,000 euros. Yep, buy American. I think Sony should support mods 100%. I think they should go a step further, and I think the PlayStation 6 should have compatibility with Steam, I think they should talk to Valve and just immediately destroy Xbox by making it so that you can play Steam, you can buy and play games on Steam through the PlayStation 6. If Sony, whoever does that first will be at a huge advantage. That's the one thing I would be trying to do. Is a swappable disk drive. You'll have to buy the disk drive separately. Yeah, there are some games on Xbox that have mod support. But nothing's really quite the same as what's on PC. Like modding on PC is much more free. You have a lot more possibilities there. Like, because PC is a big untapped market that Sony's been trying to get more into. Cloud gaming is going to be the future at some point. So Sony's already won the console war. They need to be thinking about the cloud gaming war. Because Microsoft is better positioned to take advantage of that right now than they are. So if I was Sony, I'd be thinking about ways to not only utilize cloud gaming, but get more accessibility for the PC. Follow 4 mods on PlayStation. Yeah, like I said, it's not like full mod support. It's like certain games enable mod support. It's like not a all thing, and they're pretty much all Bethesda. Like if you boot up God of War Ragnarok on your PlayStation, or you boot up Spider-Man 2, you can't use mods. But if you're on PC, you can put whatever mods you want. So that's the difference, and that's what they were meant by mod support. Sony doing mod support going forward. Just having it so that all their games you can download mods for any of them. That's what I think that's what they were getting at. I think Spider-Man 2 would, if they do their story DLC, I think they're going to release it as one big expansion. I think it's going to be one big $30 expansion. But yeah, I gotta check out Twitter to see what all these takes are. But yeah, so far I'm still interested in the Pro. I'm not in a hurry to pre-order. I just generally don't do a lot of pre-ordering. But I'm looking forward next week to the state of play. I think the state of play is going to really potentially have the most power to shift the narrative. Obviously, this wasn't like the best way they could have done this presentation, but I think between this and the blog, they kind of gave you a good enough idea of what the PS5 Pro has to offer, and it's pretty much in line with what I was expecting. If you're a PlayStation fan and you've been on a 5 and you really want to have that better performance and the visuals and everything like that, you really want to improve your quality of life, you're probably going to get the Pro. If money's an issue, you're probably going to skip it, because it's not a big enough leap if you don't have the $700 or in some cases $850, depending on the country you live in. So yeah, I can definitely see more people skipping out on this, particularly in those countries where taxes are just ridiculous. Unless Sony announces like some really crazy stuff next week, and even then, I think sales will probably be highest next year when like GTA 6 and stuff like that is out, and they'll probably have bundles and everything next year. Until the Martians Land, the Detox album comes out. I think Detox actually already came out. It was okay. And PS and Xbox come together to make a play box that your faith will be renewed. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. Welcome back to PlayStation event. So I'll be on the lookout next week for the state of play. The blog, like I said, the blog is up if you want to get more details on the Pro to decide whether or not it's worth it for you. I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for that state of play announcement. The rumors say that is next week on the 19th or the 20th. I might do a video doing a little recap. So I'll probably end stream now and just do a quick video recapping the PS5 Pro, what to expect, what they announced. They confirmed updates are coming for existing games like Spider-Man 2. So we'll do that, and that'll be it for me. I appreciate everyone hanging out. See y'all next week or the week after for the state of play for sure. I'm Sadot The Gamer signing out.